This is a monument, an oval monument dedicated to an era which began with the first automobile. The age of speed was born here, speed grew up here, and today auto racing flourishes as a leading American sport against this colorful background. The famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. In 1909, Wild Bob Berman and co-pilot Arthur Chevrolet drove this Marquette Buick to victory in the inaugural 250-mile race. The term brickyard was not yet earned. The track surface was dirt. But 2 years later came the bricks and the first 500. Then, half a century later, practice, a steady grind trying to pull that extra ounce of speed from an engine already tuned for peak performance. Then comes qualification. In 4 days of speed runs, over 60 drivers and cars try to prove their individual superiority. Only half the field make the big race, while those who fail, with the perpetual optimism of all racing men, start laying plans for next year. Even after a successful qualification, you're a long way from victory lane, and the odds for getting there are rough. One chance in 33 to make the big win. We call it the final test. When you pass through this gate with driver credentials in your pocket, you join a very select fraternal group. You're one of less than 1,000 men who have qualified to race on the bricks of the Indianapolis Speedway in the last half-century. But of these men, there is an even more select and smaller group. Those who have won the 500. He's one of them, Pat Flaherty, the 1956 winner, who wonders whether he can do it again. Jimmy Bryan. He made the trip to victory lane last year, but now a new 500 offers him another final test. George Sally, master mechanic. Will the faith he placed in his radical car design be proven for a third time? And for this man, a tougher test. How will Duane Carter fare after 3 years off the track? For veteran Johnny Parsons, a different decision. His career spans almost 20 years behind the wheel. 11 times at Indianapolis, and once in 1950, he took it all. But 1959 is 9 years later, and they're going 10 miles an hour faster. Will those reflexes be as sharp now as they were then? How would it feel drifting up toward the wall in the turns, exploding down that backstretch? Will he have the touch? Parsons is a fast new car, tuned to perfection by mechanic Fred DeOrian. Is it too fast? Well, there's only one way to find out. Johnny takes it out and he learns the truth. The speeds are too great, and it's time for a champion to call it quits. Johnny Parsons announces his retirement. It wouldn't be fair to the fans, the car, or my crew to try to carry on, he says. An ovation, a handshake, and Parsons' Indianapolis career is over. But there on the pit wall sits mechanic Fred DeOrian. Where will he find another driver as good as Johnny? But for national champion Tony Bettenhausen, the problem is one of survival. It happened during practice coming out of the second turn. And these are what saved him. Roll bars required by the rule book. 2 hours later, Tony tells them all about his 28th time upside down. But the car he drove, well, would you believe that it could be in shape to run a week later? On the first day of qualifying, Duane Carter figures to get it over with in a hurry. His time of 142.795 miles an hour is a good starter, but only a start. Another veteran, Johnny Thompson, takes careful aim at that coveted pole position and sets a new one-lap record. His average time for the 10-mile, 4-lap run is 145.906 miles per hour. Just a whisker under Dick Rathman's 1958 record. The racing Rathmans. Here is Cecil, father of Jim and Dick Rathman. Jim is waiting for the track to clear so he can start his qualifying run, hoping that the wind hasn't increased enough to keep him from surpassing the top time set by Thompson. That pole position. But so does his brother Dick, who watches as the younger brother starts the 4-lap run. And looking on from the stands is a third Rathman generation. Jim whirls around the track, driving right in the groove, while Johnny Thompson looks on, wondering if his speed will be beaten, if a Rathman will bump him out of the #1 starting position. But Jim, with 144.433 miles per hour, fails to better Thompson's time. So brother Dick, last year's pole starter, hits the brakes. His time in the McNamara Special is 144.245 miles an hour. Good for the race, but Thompson is still securely on the pole. Second high qualifier is Eddie Sachs in the Peter Schmidt Special. 145.425 miles per hour earned the Pennsylvania driver center spot in the front row. Surpassing many a veteran speed is Bobby Grimm, Rookie of the Year. Then comes Roger Ward of Los Angeles with 8 Memorial Day Classics behind him. He cinches a second row spot with a speed of 144.035 miles an hour in the Leader Card Special. Is Ward's bad luck finally changing? Only race day will tell. Two practice run fatalities early in May are proof positive that although Monza and Daytona have come up with higher speeds, Indianapolis is still the final test. But in this test between speed and pace, Johnny Tolan spins out on a qualifying try. He crashes into the wall on the southeast turn, but Tolan is much luckier than Bob Portner and Jerry Ensign. He walks away from this crash. Ex-driver Freddie Agabashian tells the boys about that tough southeast turn. He sailed into it last year and didn't quite get around. Then there's the weather. Everybody worries about it, everyone except this enthusiastic race fan. But bad weather on the first day slows the attempts of Jimmy Bryan, last year's winner, to qualify the AP Special. And the next day is the same story, plus engine trouble. A week goes by and the third day of qualification begins. But not for Jimmy Bryan. An oil pump fails, virtually wrecks his engine. And George Sally goes shopping for a new one. They work all night, and on the last day, Bryan gets into the show 7 rows back. The 1956 winner shares headlines with Earl Motter, driver of a Dean Van Line Special. Fortunately, owner Al Dean has another entry, and he rests all his hopes now on A.J. Boyd, who drove his first Indianapolis race last year. Now the Bardol team picks its man, Paul Russo, the hard-charging veteran from Missouri. 16 trips to the old brickyard make Russo something of an expert, but every race is a new one. Here is the final test for driver, crew, car, and product. Tortuous speed that drives men and mechanics to the breaking point. Then it's all over. A roll down through the pits, a stop for an interview and picture, and the Bardol Special is in the race. Dawns bright and clear. Frenzied yet planned activity sets the stage for the final test. Crews work busily in the pits as some 185,000 spectators pour into the grandstand and infield. And for the first time in over a month, Gasoline Alley is deserted. Just prior to race time, products used in the final test are added to the engines. Race officials stand by to make sure the application conforms to manufacturer recommendation. Then the excitement starts building. The Purdue University Band comes marching up the home stretch. And that traditional race day rabbit makes his appearance. But he's caught before he can disrupt the calm of the safety patrol. Dignitaries, movie and TV stars parade for the fans as the final hour draws near. The cars lined up on the track make a rainbow of color. Johnny Thompson relaxes in the pole position. Eddie Sachs patiently waits in the number 2 spot. Jim Rathman gets last-minute instructions from his mechanic. And Jack Turner defies track superstition with a green car. The track is clear. The balloons go up and those fateful words, "Gentlemen, start your engine." pace car into the pits. The cars roar to full acceleration and speed down the straightaway. The green flag drops. The race is on. Johnny Thompson jumps into the lead from the pole position, followed by Roger Ward with Dick Rathman in third position. Jimmy Bryan remains stalled at the pit exit. A faulty clutch keeps him from getting his car started on the parade lap. Then the second lap with Thompson still in the lead. Ward is a close second and Rathman in the Simon I Special third. Bryan still in the pits. Coming into the first turn on the third lap, Ward challenges Thompson. Neither will give an inch, and side by side they speed through the turn with Thompson finally holding his lead by passing on the outside of the second turn. Bryan wheels from the pits, now 3 laps behind the leaders, and his car is developing new troubles. Nevertheless, he makes the old try in true championship style. With his car smoking badly, he tries to get back in the race. Then, dejectedly pulls into the pits. Chief Mechanic George Sally and the crew frantically search for the trouble as Bryan watches the field roar past. Finally, they give up. Bryan's car is pushed to gasoline out. Last year's winner is the first car out. But on the track, Thompson and Ward continue to duel for the first spot, gradually leaving the rest of the field behind them. The pace is really grueling. Speeds that promise to make this the fastest race in the Speedway's 50-year history. Oh, there's a spin. It's Eddie Sachs in the Schmidt Special. Off the track after a narrow miss and onto the turf. To appreciate the skill of these professional drivers, let's study this near accident from another position. The caution flag is displayed for only a moment as he restarts his engine and goes back into the race. A narrow escape and a real display of driving skill by the drivers who avoided his skidding car. With the field slowed by Sachs' spin, Thompson takes advantage of the yellow caution light to make a pit stop. 3 tires and fuel in 25 seconds, while Roger Ward takes the lead. Jim Rathman moves up to second position. Len Sutton crashes into the southwest wall. Taking advantage of the caution light, Cheeseburg in number 53 pits, but too fast and narrowly avoids trouble. Safety crews move Sutton off the track as the field goes by under the caution flag. When the track is clear, the drivers up their speed again and the order reshuffles. Ward is still leading. Pat Flaherty is up in 4th position. Paul Russo in the Bardol Special has moved into the top 10 along with his old teammate Tony Bettenhausen. A 4-car crack up in the northeast turn flips Mike McGill's car, number 77, almost over the wall. Other cars in the crash that sent McGill to the hospital were Judd Larson's number 7, Chuck Wyant's 47, Red Amy's car, 87. All cars with numbers ending in 7. But speed continues to mount as the race goes on. Ray Crawford streaks up the backstretch and coming into that rough number 3 turn, cuts below the white line, hits the dirt, spins out. Crawford suffered 10 broken ribs and other injuries in this, his 3rd race at the Brickyard. It's the 149th lap, and Jim Rathman makes his 3rd pit stop. And off again to catch Ward, who still has 1 pit stop to make. Next, Dick Rathman makes his pit stop. All goes well until fuel spills and fire. Safety crews in the spot spring into action to combat the track's most deadly menace. Rathman is virtually blasted out of the car by the fire extinguishers and suffers burns along with one of his crewmen. Not serious thanks to his fireproof suit, but he's out of the race. And the race goes on with Ward in the leader card special still leading, Thompson in 2nd place, followed by Jim Rathman, Bettenhausen, Goldsmith, Boyd, Carter, Voigt, and Russo in the Bardol Special. A new track record for 400 miles, an average of 135.719 miles per hour. As the race nears the end, Pat Flaherty crashes into the barricade at the pit entrance. He climbs slowly out of the car, shaken but unhurt, and limps over to the pit wall as other cars detour around him on the way into the pits. But Flaherty's bad luck is good luck for Roger Ward. He makes his 3rd pit stop under the caution light as Rathman slowly circles the track, unable to press his advantage. New hydraulic jacks enable well-rehearsed crews to crack the 1958 record of 26 seconds. The leader card special is serviced in 20 seconds, so fast that Roger Ward barely has time for his drink of water. This is his 3rd pit stop, and from here on in, it's a non-stop grind to the end, with Jim Rathman breathing down his neck all the way. Then Freddie DeOrian's crew establishes a new record as Paul Russo brings the Bardol Special into the pits. Just 19 seconds for 3 tires and fuel, and he's on his way again. Now Rathman is making an all-out bid to catch Roger Ward. Only a few seconds separate their speeding cars. The white flag is out, 1 lap to go. Thompson is 3rd, Bettenhausen 4th, Paul Goldsmith 5th, Boyd 6th, and Paul Russo is pushing the Bardol Special to its limit. Then Roger Ward gets the checkered flag. His first win in 9 years at Indianapolis and the fastest 500 in history. Jim Rathman is 2nd, flashing over the line seconds behind Roger Ward, while Johnny Thompson, the early leader, takes 3rd. The Bardol Special streaks across the line in the money for the 10th consecutive year at Indianapolis. The golden anniversary of Indianapolis racing is over, but the memory of this day will live on and on. The memory of courageous men like Paul Russo, who have been driving race cars faster and faster for 27 years. Men like Fred Dioria, who do their racing from the pits with a wrench in their hand. And the men seldom seen who watch, observe, time, and police for safety this great American crucible of speed. Now the Indianapolis 500 has a new champion. He is Roger Ward of Los Angeles. He has passed the final test, the torture test for men, machines, and products that lead to better motoring for you.
Sit behind the wheel of a racing car, setting new records of speed at famous international speedways. Share the thrills, excitement, and danger as men of iron gamble their lives on split-second decisions, on four wheels, on wheels, or on the water. These are the great moments of sport with the best drivers of all time, and you are riding with them as a new page of racing history is on Speedway International. Our machines reach for outer space, but no man rides them. We've developed fuels of amazing power, fashioned metal for undreamed speeds. We control these giants, but at the final moment, we can only watch and wonder. We cannot ride them into the unknown. Yet, on Earth, men have ridden missiles into the unknown. In these garages, they are built by men for men to drive. Here they join metal and fuel to give enormous speed. On this launching pad, they have tested men and missiles for 50 years. It is morning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the first day of May. Now, men will ride these missiles into the unknown. Launched from the pits, you leave the world. Your vehicles are as strange, as complex, as finely made, and as difficult to control as missiles into outer space. You become the thinking part of a machine. Each year, you must start over again, reaching for the fastest way around. The unknown is a fearful challenge. And beyond 145 miles an hour, no one knows the speedway. A puff of wind, a response too slow or too fast, an error in judgment of 1/100th of a second. Any one of these. A day later, he's ready to try again. It becomes an act of faith to look at the wall straight on and keep the throttle down. To drive this track at speed or conquer outer space requires solution of similar problems. A race car, like a rocket, is a lightweight frame for a powerful engine, but the race car has a seat. Engines are limited in size. Only the most exact tuning can squeeze extra horsepower. Power, weight, and balance become critical factors. Fuel consumption, tire wear, driver fatigue depend upon balance, the way the chassis handles in the turns. Weight is shifted from one wheel to another to offset the forces that twist the car out of control. The mechanics work with unceasing precision. In the balance hangs a driver's life. A month of practice is hardly enough to find the combination that will give straightaway speeds of 170 miles an hour and turning speeds of better than 135. Throttle controls you as the car drifts out. The wall is a foot from your elbow as you add more power and the drift ends. Then, rocket down to the next turn and do it all over again. No matter what terrors are found in the sky, at least there is no wall staring you in the face. To drive faster and still cheat the wall requires machines designed for this one race a year. This was an experiment in new engineering when it was built 3 years ago. It has won both 500s it entered. This was the first car with an engine laid on its side, designed by its mechanic George Sally. It won with Sam Hanks, then Jimmy Bryan at the wheel. They proved this missile could handle better in 1,000 miles of competition. When a design works, other mechanics use and try to improve it. Johnny Thompson drives a car with an engine flipped the other way. The drive shaft runs to the right of the car center line. The weight shift may mean an extra 1/10 of a second in a turn. Although a sidewinder has won the race twice running, this car, with a stand-up engine, holds the world speed record for Indianapolis-type cars. Jim Rathman, in competition on a high bank track, averaged better than 170 miles an hour for 100 miles. The car was built by the same man who also designed this car for Pat Flaherty, and this one, the leader card special for Roger Ward. Designer, mechanic, and car builder, A.J. Watson. Twice, Watson has been the winning mechanic here at Indianapolis before Sally's Sidewinder took over Victory Circle. Watson still stands his engine straight up on the left of the car's center line. Watson's cars are light, rugged, powerful. When the mechanic has done his work, it's up to the driver. Only one man can ride this rocket. Qualifications drew 100,000 fans. The race, 200,000. 433 acres of people to watch men and machines race 500 miles. The sorting out is done. These are the fastest. Out of Gasoline Alley, out of the garages to the pits, evenly matched. No car slower than 141 miles an hour, none faster than 146. There's a threat of rain, but Roger Ward is ready. He told newsmen a moment ago, "I wouldn't take second place money now if they gave it to me." Tony Bettenhausen, 42-year-old national champion, has won more races in big cars than any of the others, but not at Indianapolis. This is his 14th try at the 500. Jim Rathman, 20 seconds from victory 2 years ago. This year, he wants to win. Brother Dick Rathman, fast, powerful. Johnny Boyd, finished third last year. Jimmy Bryan, last year's winner. His car was all over the garage floor just a few hours ago. The cars are ready. 11 rows, 3 cars to a row. Then Tony Holman, Speedway president, calls,
"Gentlemen, start your engines."
The final countdown. The pace lap begins. A slow lap to pick up speed for a flying start. This is not the fastest place on Earth, but here is competition. Automobiles have gone twice as fast on the Utah Salt Flats, but here is the thrill of top speed in traffic. Strapped to rocket sleds, missile men have been carried for short distances at tremendous speed. But here is a 500-mile race. Something is wrong. A car not started. It's Jimmy Bryan in number 6, the former winner. The crew roll the car clear of the track. In less than a half minute, the field will be charging down the front straightaway. Out of the 4th turn, 32 cars are gathering speed, heading for the green flag. The pace car pulls into the pit area, and the race is on. Thompson, inside front row, jumps to the lead. A living tornado tears into the first turn. They string out, running in the groove, the fast, smooth way around the turns. Thompson leads down the backstretch, kicking his machine ahead at 170 miles an hour. Jimmy Bryan isn't going anywhere. Clutch trouble and a broken cam housing stud cripples George Sally's car. The heartbreaks of racing. Thompson running in front, Dick Rathman second. Roger Ward third, Jim Rathman fourth. Down the main chute, Ward takes second. Bryan just can't watch. This must seem like a nightmare to Jimmy. The worst day of the year to walk. No matter who the driver is, no car has ever won 3 years in a row at Indianapolis. Ward in number 5 firmly in second and gaining. Roger Ward moves into striking position. Thompson is averaging 140 miles an hour, but Ward tries a pass. Suddenly, it is a race. Roger Ward in Watson's car takes the lead. In the first turn, a spin. Eddie Sachs in number 44 slides 1,000 feet, barely missing Tony Bettenhausen. Sachs is out of danger as Bill Vanderwater throws the yellow flag, warning all other drivers to reduce speed and hold position. Eddie Sachs is okay. He stays in his car, and an emergency vehicle gives him a tow, dirt track style. Sachs restarts his engine. There's the green. The track is clear for high speed, and Sachs limps to the pits for new tires and a checkup. They're on it again, with Ward still in front. Battling his way to second place, Jim Rathman in number 16 bears down on Roger Ward. Jim Rathman gets by. He's in first place. Pat Flaherty, winner in 1956, charges from 18th position to 3rd. Len Sutton slams the wall on the first turn, yards from Eddie Sachs' spin. But Sutton's machine won't race again. Number 8 is the second car out of the running, but Sutton is all right. Using the caution signal, Thompson comes into the pit. Thompson has been running at 145 miles an hour, cutting through traffic at qualification speed. But this early pit stop may mean that Thompson will need 4 pit stops instead of 3. "30 seconds. He's away with fresh tires and a load of fuel. Wreckage from number 8 is cleared, and they're running wide open again. Flaherty in number 64 challenges Jim Rathman and passes. Ward is only seconds behind in 3rd place. A.J. Watson checks the action from Ward's pit. According to plan, Ward is not running all out, making certain he will go the distance with only 3 pit stops. It's a calculated risk, while other Watson-built machines are running wheel to wheel at better than 144 miles an hour. Jim Rathman and Pat Flaherty are in a furious fight for the lead. Trouble on the 3rd turn. Look out! Chuck Wyatt and Mike McGill spin. Judd Larson's in trouble. McGill, on his back, slides across the track. Wyatt races to get McGill out of the wreck. McGill is pinned inside. Red Amick's car tangled with Larson's and is also out of the race. Larson has also run to McGill's wreck. Wyatt, Larson, and Amick aren't even scratched, and McGill is not seriously injured, but all 4 cars are out of the race. On the caution laps, Jim Rathman gives up the lead and comes to his pit. Like the first stage of a rocket, his car is burned out. It must be refueled and fitted with new tires. 27 seconds and ready to go. There's Pat Flaherty, the 1956 winner. His run from 18th starting position to the battle for first place has carried him through traffic at better than 144 miles an hour. Flaherty is on his way after a 20-second stop. Something's wrong. Flaherty is stalled. And here comes Roger Ward for his pit stop. Watson and his super service station jump on the car. Specially designed pneumatic jacks are built into the car. 5 men and only 5 are allowed over the pit wall to change tires and refuel. This device frees the crew and saves a handful of seconds. In 22 seconds, Ward rolls out in second place. Gunning his engine smoothly, blending with the traffic as he picks up speed, searching for Thompson, the leader. Flaherty, his engine restarted, races after Ward. When the wreckage is cleared, the green flashes for high speed. Again, it's a new race, with Roger Ward battling Johnny Thompson in heavy traffic. Thompson passing. But in the second turn, it's Ward again in first place. 30 seconds behind, Rathman is charging. Ray Crawford into the wall. His fuel tank splits. For the 4th time in the afternoon, the caution signal slows traffic, while firefighters douse the flame, and Crawford, not seriously injured, is helped from the cockpit. Johnny Thompson in the pits, and this may cost him the race. 1 extra pit stop gives Roger Ward his big chance. Ward in number 5 now has a tight grip on first place. Thompson out of the pits in 20 seconds, but a damaged torsion bar makes his car difficult to handle. Ward in the lead. But Jim Rathman makes his bid. He's only 6 seconds behind Ward. The mechanics know that this is the showdown. A.J. Watson and Jack Beckley, Rathman's mechanic, wait out the last 40 laps. Jim Rathman's brother Dick races into the pits for fuel and new tires. Pit action has been amazing this afternoon. 1 car after another, taking on 60 gallons of fuel in less than half a minute. Something's wrong. Dick Rathman is on fire. Spilled fuel coming in contact with hot metal ignites, but Rathman stays with that car. He wants to race. Uh-oh, that seat is too hot. Dick Rathman is out of his car, and he's really hot around the collar. The fire is under control, but the car is out of the race. Rathman heads for the garage, sore as a sunburn. Ward ticks off the last laps, running smoothly for a new record. His crew and Bob Wilkie, the car owner, are riding with him. Jim Rathman passes everybody in sight, but Ward won't be caught. Pressed by Rathman, Ward is running 140 miles per hour. Thompson, handling the car beautifully despite a shift in the chassis balance, is running hard in 3rd place. Ward comes down the main straightaway to take the white flag. He's on his last lap. Watson can only wait for his driver to come around for the last time. And there he is, out of the 4th turn and roaring for the checkered flag. Roger Ward wins the 43rd Indianapolis 500. And the checkered flag waves for Jim Rathman in 2nd place, 20 seconds too late. This has been a tremendous personal victory for A.J. Watson, the man who built the cars that finished 1-2, and his mechanic for the winner. Johnny Thompson takes 3rd. His flat engine car now holds the fastest lap time ever clocked in a 500, 145.4 miles an hour. Mechanics will remember this when they build for next year. Here comes Roger Ward rolling to the winner's circle in his 9th try at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He rolls down the path to gold and glory. Ward's share of the Speedway purse of $330,000 is more than $106,000. Both the purse and the winner's share of it are new records for auto racing. And the winner's reward, a kiss from film star Aaron O'Brien. Hot, grimy, deafened by the roar of his engine, and happy. The 38-year-old former combat pilot shares his victory with his wife, Jo, and their mascot, Skippy. Ward saved his car until his first pit stop. Satisfied with tire wear and fuel consumption, Watson then signaled him to run for broke. Past pit work, smooth, steady driving, and a perfect machine combined to send Ward where no man has ever been. 500 miles at record speed for the Indianapolis track. The test is over. The crowds are gone. The great launching site waits for another year. In the garages, mechanics uncover the secrets of success and failure, while the moon sends down a silent challenge. In the missiles created here, man has dared to ride into the unknown. The same daring will carry him into outer space. Because men have always ventured into the unknown, the moon, which lights an empty racetrack, may soon become mankind's first pit stop, a refueling station in the race to stars. Join us again in another Speedway International. Share the thrill, excitement, and danger as great drivers meet the challenge of competition on land and sea.